Good God. Well, I can say is Lord Mallochbaum is a collaborator with the European Union. His pensions, everything depend on this sort of stuff. Quite honestly, he just loves the European Union. He does not link with normal British people who do not like the European Union. It may suit him to have cheap chauffeurs and cheap nannies for his children from parts of Europe. Well, that's all very well. But for ordinary British people who are losing their jobs, who've got a health service which is completely overburdened with people coming from abroad, it's not a good thing. He may have private health care, Lord Mallochbaum, of course, one of the elite, one of Tony's cronies, all that sort of crew. Yes, they love all that sort of thing, but it's not good for ordinary people.
Well, speaking of World War II, Brexiteers love to talk about a Churchillian Brexit, but he was calling for a United States of Europe 70 years ago. Would Churchill really support Brexit?
Churchill did not call for a United States of Europe. He called for a United States of the other parts of Europe, which did not include the United Kingdom. He saw no reason for that because Britain had the greatest empire the world has ever known and the largest empire the world has ever known. What he didn't want was all these ridiculous European nations squabbling around themselves who had caused 2 world wars and, of course, the Napoleonic Wars. All the wars, the Napoleonic Wars, the Second World War and the First World War, and before that, the wars with Louis XIV, Britain had to settle. British arms had to settle ridiculous squabbles in Europe. We wanted them to stop squabbling, but we had no intention of ever joining the European Union. So that is absolute twaddle of the first water.
Well, you referred to Lord Mallochbaum as a collaborator with the EU. Brexiteers are treating the EU as the enemy. No wonder they're acting like an enemy and rejecting all our proposals. Why should they offer us a good deal if this is the way that you're treating them?
Why should they not? They want us to be their friends. We're the 5th largest economy in the world. They must be insane to declare economic war on the 5th largest economy right next to Europe. And also in terms of our links to the Commonwealth, which we will be renewing and engaging with even more so, they're making war on the entire Anglosphere, which in itself has a larger GDP than the European Union. That doesn't include our former colony, the United States, also part of the Anglosphere. These people have got no idea. And Lord Mallochbaum, who's never run a business in his life, has no idea about these things. The man's a bureaucrat. Totally pointless. I've been a businessman all my life, and I know fine well that the European Union and all the rest of it, it's all about business. And if the European Union do not have business, they will have a problem with employment throughout Europe. And, we buy more from the European Union than they buy from us. So they're the ones that are going to lose out. And I'm going to go and see the director of Mercedes-Benz and explain to him why, he wouldn't want Britain to go into a sort of Japanese buying car mode.
Let me ask you one more thing about the funding for this group. Aren't we making George Soros a scapegoat here? Could it be that you're just afraid that people will like and support the ideas of the anti-Brexiters now?
George Soros made an enormous amount of money out of crashing the pound or being involved in speculating against the pound. And quite frankly, I don't think he did the British public any good at all. What's in it for George Soros? George Soros is a gambler. He's an investor. He is not interested in the welfare of the British public or even the European public, as far as I'm concerned. He is interested in making money. And if anybody can't see that, I wonder what's wrong with them. It seems fairly obvious to me and seems very obvious.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.